Hi, this is Purity Sin, and I am honored to meet Kevin Conroy. As everyone knows, the Batman.
Good to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Happy to be here.
And my fans have written down a few questions, if you don't mind answering them. First one is, how does it feel playing Batman for so long, and then playing a character like Captain Sunshine on Venture Brothers?
Well, playing Batman for so long, who knew that it was going to last as long as it did? I mean, I started recording it in '91, and it started airing in '92, so it's been 22 years of recording the character. And it evolved, from Batman, the animated series, to the Adventures of Batman and Robin, and then Batman Beyond, and then Justice League, and then the games and the movies. It's just been an amazing ride to be on for 22 years. I had no idea it was going to evolve the way it did. There's a great line from a John Lennon song, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. I never planned on this happening. I was a theater actor, and I happened to be in LA doing a TV show, and my agent sent me over to Warner Brothers to audition for this new show they were doing back in '91. So it was all kind of serendipitous, it just happened. But a lot of work and training went into it, from years of working in the theater in New York. And, so that part of it has been a wonderful ride to have been on for 22 years. The fact that the audience knows who I am is something that only happened after sort of the internet exploded. People didn't ever know who animation voices were. Do you know who Yogi Bear was, or the Jetsons, or those people from our childhood? We never knew who those voices were. But everyone knows now who the voices are. People will stop me on the street and go, "Aren't you Batman?" And I think, how do they know that? And my name, they'll go, "Kevin Conroy, are you that Kevin Conroy?" And I think, how do they know? This for 10 years, this was a totally anonymous job. But then for the last 10 years, suddenly everybody knows now because of it's all because of the internet and access to information. So that part of it's been a lot of fun. Been recognized in some pretty bizarre places. But the job itself has just been a real honor to be a part of for so long.
Now, how does it feel being so loved by fans, so accepted, that people just go insane if you're not playing Batman? How honored does that make you feel to know so many people just love you so much?
Well, it makes me feel this exactly the way you'd expect it makes me feel. It makes me feel wonderful that there's that rapport between me and the audience. I've worked really hard to make him, to really get into him and to understand what makes him work. The darkness of the pain of his youth, to be very true to the character, and the emotional journey he's been on. And Andrea Romano, the director, and Bruce Timm, the creators, and Paul Dini, everyone was part of that effort to really get to the truth of the character, of what makes him work. So we never took any of that lightly. No one ever thought of it as a cartoon. Everyone always thought of it as an epic journey that this guy was on, that this character was on. And I worked really hard at that. So the fact that that resonated with the audience to me is fantastic. That people got it. You know what I mean? You work so hard on something, often people don't get it. It just doesn't translate sometimes. This translated. People got this. And the result is that reaction from the audience. So that's why that reaction means so much to me, is because it means, 20 years of work really got there. People got it. That's great. That doesn't mean I'm always going to play the role. No one owns the role. Some directors just come along and want to try other people. They just want to try another. They go, well, we've used Kevin Conroy for 20 years. Let's try someone else. So occasionally I don't get it now. I say more power to the next guy. If he can do it, let him do it. It's been a great job for me for a long time. But what's mattered most to me is the resonance it's had with the audience. That's really been great.
Well, I know I'm definitely one of your fans. I always have been. You
Thank
got
you.
me into Batman. Now, before you got the role, were you actually into comic books?
No, oddly, I wasn't. When I went to the first audition, they had to explain to me the whole story. I thought, they said Batman. I said, you mean like the Adam West series? And they said, no, that was campy. That was not Batman. That was farce. This The Dark Knight, this is, based on the Dark Knight series of comics, and they had to describe to me what the graphic novels were all about, and what the story, the legend of the story was. I had a very, very traditional Catholic school upbringing, and we did not have any comic books, believe me. I just didn't have any comic books when I was a kid. So I just wasn't exposed to the Batman comics. I had a pretty strict family.
Now that you're in the Batman universe and stuff, have you gotten into comics, and are there any other comic book characters you'd actually want to play, or any characters just in general?
I haven't gotten into comics. What I've gotten into is graphic art. I've gotten into the cell art. I have a really wonderful collection of cells. I started off with the Batman cells from different episodes that I really liked. And then I sort of branched out into other, Warner Brothers bought Hanna-Barbera, so I got access to the Hanna-Barbera stuff, the Yogi Bear and the Jetsons, and then the great stuff. I have some great Bugs Bunny things, and so I have a few cells from Cara Blanca, which is,
wow.
I know, it's the legendary show, animated show. So I've got probably about 60 cells now.
Wow, I've only got about 4 to my name. I collect 2. They're so hard to get a hold of nowadays.
Well, yeah,
How do you...
the hand-painted ones, because they have a vault at Warner Brothers, and I'm sure Disney does too, where they hold them back, because they know they're appreciating in value. So it is, you're right, it's hard to get a hold of them now, and the really good ones, it is hard to get. I've got some beauties.
Now, as an animation fan, how do you feel with the hand-drawn versus CGI?
Yeah, CGI enables them to do certain things they couldn't do with hand-drawn. There are certain technical things that are just incredible that they can do. But the hand-drawn, to me, there's just a warmth to them that I love.
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, don't you?
It feels like there's more love in the hand-drawn.
Don't you see it? I don't know if it's my imagination that I'm putting it into it, but I see warmth in the hand-drawn art.
I think it's because it takes so much more time
Mm-hmm.
that people just appreciate it more. Like with the Beauty and the Beast movie, they had hand-drawn and CGI.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of thing I could see, but I wish
Yeah,
they
yeah.
would bring back more hand-drawn.
Yeah, I do too. It's so expensive. That was what happened. It's so labor intensive. So that's why they went to CGI.
Let's see. I know there's one. Let's see. Here's one. A fan was asking me, as Batman, do you feel that the show is saying that the poor need to kind of expect the rich to do everything, or do you think it's something more as a character?
I think it's about. I don't think it's about class. I think his wealth enables him to do things, but I don't think it's a class thing at all. I think it's a personal responsibility thing. I think it's that it's all about the reason the character resonates with people so much is because there's a Batman in all of us. All of us want to be the hero to somebody, I think. I get asked sometimes who my favorite heroes are. And in one of these Comic-Cons I said, honestly, my favorite heroes are the firemen. It's not some superhero. It's the guy who's going to save my life from a burning building. Or the cop, who's going to defend me from a thief. Those are real heroes. Those are, the everyday heroes who put their lives on the line for everybody. But everybody wants to believe there's a hero in them somewhere, I think. There was an incident recently in New York, or about a year ago, where a man fainted on the subway platform and fell on the tracks, an old man. And a guy, just an ordinary guy, dove on this man and threw himself on this guy's body to hold him down in the well between the tracks because the subway was coming and it was too late to get him out of there. And the train went over both of them. And he saved the man's life, because if the man had tried to stand up, he would have been killed. And everyone said, "Why did you do this?" And the guy said, "How could I not?" And that was his reaction. How could I not do it? I thought, that's a hero. That's a Batman. And that was a poor schmo, standing on a subway platform. So I don't think it's a class thing. I think it's about spirit. It's about stepping up and helping somebody and taking responsibility. And that's why it resonates with so much of the audience, so many people. And I love the fact that it resonates with young people so much, because it means there's a yearning there too, to do the right thing.
I tend to agree with you. So you hear that, Steve? It's not the money. Now, here's one that the fans thought would be hilarious to ask. Have you ever wanted to just walk into the voice booth with just a cape and a cowl on and go, I'm Batman?
If I did that, I think they'd arrest me. They'd say, Kevin's gone over. He's gone to the dark side. No, I have no illusions to the fact that I am not really Batman.
Now, we've heard Batman sing.
Yeah.
How would you like to do a Batman CD, Batman's greatest hits?
Well, Andrea would like me to do that, my director. I love to sing. I'm not really a singer, but I do love to sing. And she knew that, which is why they put that Am I Blue episode in.
I'll be honest, I didn't realize it was you, and when someone told me, I was like, wow, he can sing.
It was fun. It was fun. She did that for me.
Now, I've heard you also did the singing in the Batman Beyond episode where they did the Broadway.
They thought it would be
feel
funny.
Getting to be kind of
They thought it would be
silly.
funny if I was being a silly actor playing it being Batman. And it was. I mean, that was hysterical. The levels of, I was 80-year-old Bruce Wayne watching Kevin Conroy, who did the voice of Batman, doing a spoofy actor playing Batman on a Broadway show, singing. I mean, the levels of reality in there were crazy. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
How many takes did you have to do with it without you laughing?
I didn't have to do a lot of takes, actually. I'm such a ham,
Now, you're a classical trained actor.
Yeah.
Do you like to...
I was once.
Oh, no, you still are. Now, you like doing theater and stuff. Do you prefer doing theater over voice acting or vice versa or TV?
My feeling has always been that there are the different areas of the entertainment business feature different talents. Film is really about directing. It's a director's medium. Television is about writing. It's a writer's medium. They can manipulate things to make actors look various ways. Theater is really the actor's medium. It's where the actor's in charge. You are in charge of those 2 hours on stage every night. Yes, you're dealing with a script. Yes, you've been molded by the director. But creating that moment alive in front of live people, it's a communication between the actors and the audience. So that's really the only place I think the actor's in charge. And so I've always loved the theater. And that was my first love, and that's where I always feel most at home. I haven't done any theater in a number of years, but that's where I'm happiest, actually.
I can understand. I used to actually do a lot of theater as well.
Yeah.
It's fun
You know what I
to
mean?
get up there.
It's fun.
Now, let's see. What other silly questions? All right, what is your absolute dream role? If you could have any role you wanted.
People ask that all the time. It's so hard. There's so many roles. My favorite role, I always say, is the last role I did, because it's the one that's freshest in my mind. There were so many good roles. I'm proud of a lot of what I've done, and there's a lot more I hope to do. So.
Now, are there any new projects you're working on, or do you
Yeah.
have to keep those secret?
I have to keep them secret,
Aw.
but I am working on it.
Can't even give us just a little hint?
No.
Now, let's see.
You would think they'd want me to advertise
You would think,
what I'm doing.
but
Half the reason I go to the cons, started going to the cons back 20 years ago when I went to San Diego Comic-Con, was to promote the shows. They asked me to go. Now they don't want me to talk about anything because they want to control the rollouts completely. So now I go just to meet the audience, for the interaction. But I can't talk about anything I'm doing. It's very bizarre.
all right, here's something. Since you've been to a lot of cons, what is the craziest thing that's ever happened to you at a con?
The craziest thing that's ever happened to me at a con. I can't really talk about it, actually.
Must be really crazy.
Yeah. Well, San Diego gets pretty weird.
I get
Have
to
you
go
been?
next year,
Yeah,
so
no,
I
it's-
get to find out.
It's pretty bizarre. And I did have some bizarre stuff happen there, but I actually can't, I don't think I can talk about it.
What about one of the funniest?
I'm not that wild a guy, actually. There's not much. I think we're done.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.